Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
That's much better. I am City Council President Kenyatta Johnson. I want to thank everyone for being here this evening as we kick off our Your City, Your Budget Town Hall series. This evening is all about us listening to your issues, concerns, and recommendations as we prepare and negotiate our fiscal 2026 budget. But most importantly, it was important to us as a body to make sure we're not only in City Hall negotiating the budget during the public comment section, but taking our show, so to speak, on the road. This is our second year doing this, but most important, this is an opportunity to come out, listen to your issues, listen to your concerns, listen to your recommendations, and most importantly, take your information back with us as we prepare for a final budget negotiations in June and advocate on behalf of the issues and concerns that you are expressing this evening. I want to take this moment to turn the microphone over to fearless leader in City Council who represents this district. My district is across the street. I represent parts of South Philadelphia, Southwest Philadelphia, and parts of Center City, but our borderline next to the 3rd Councilmember district. And so my co-host actually for this evening is the Councilwoman of the 3rd Councilmember district, Councilwoman Jamie Gauthier. Thank you for hosting us this evening.
Good evening, everybody. It is good to see so many friends and neighbors in the room. And for those of you who I don't know, I'm Councilmember Jamie Gauthier. I'm very proud to represent much of West and Southwest Philadelphia and to share the representation of Southwest Philadelphia with our amazing Council President Kenyatta Johnson. And I want to take an opportunity to thank Council President Johnson because he is so committed to bringing City Council out of City Hall and into our community. And that's what this is all about. I also want to thank my colleagues who are represented here today. To my left, we have Minority Whip Councilmember Nicholas O'Rourke. Councilmember Dr. Nina Ahmad.
At large.
Councilmember Ketsi Lozada, who came all the way from the 7th District to join us. Councilmember Jimmy Harity. And Councilmember Cindy Bass, who came all the way from the Northwest to be here. And I want to thank our hard-working council staff as well. All of us are here tonight with one purpose, and that's to hear your priorities for the city's FY 2026 budget. As we know, a budget is a moral document. It reflects what we think is important as a community. It's an opportunity for us to invest resources in the things that you want and need. It's an opportunity for us to bring justice to vulnerable communities. Think about, for example, the housing crisis. We know that so many people across the city are struggling to find housing that they can afford, but with this budget, we have an opportunity to invest $800 million in helping people with that issue, right? And this couldn't come at a more important time. We know that federally, the president is making cuts to important departments that the city of Philadelphia depends on, like the Department of Housing and Urban Development and the EPA. And so it's especially important that at a local level, we get this budget right. We invest in the things that reflect the needs and wants of our constituents so that we can have a brighter future regardless of what's going on in DC. So thank you for being here tonight. I want to give a shout out to our Department of Revenue, who has also joined us. I believe they're tabled out in the foyer ahead. I know lots of folks have questions about property tax relief programs and other offerings that the Department of Revenue has. I also have several staff members here tonight. My Chief of Staff, Maria Kendros, is right there waving her hand. And several members of my constituent services team, our Director of Constituent Services, Alexis Wright-Whitley, and Siani Beatty, our Constituent Services Manager. They're both sitting outside, tabling and here to address any concern that you may have. So with that, I'll pass it over to the Council President, and I'm so excited to hear what you have to say tonight and to use it in my budget advocacy this season.
Thank you very much, Member Gauthier. I want to also take a moment to acknowledge a good friend of mine, advocate for social justice, the pastor of this church, Pastor Sean James, and his team, the Salt and Light Church. Let's give them a real big round of applause. And we thank them for opening up their doors to the community. This isn't the first time that they've also opened up their doors. Pastor Sean James is always on the front line, advocating to improve the quality of life of the constituents here in the city of Philadelphia. I also want to take a moment to acknowledge City Controller Christy Brady, who just arrived as well. Let's give her a round of applause as well. We thank you, Christy, for taking time out of your schedule and being here. I also see that we have a representative from the Office of State Senator Anthony Hardy Williams. Could you please stand, Mr. Wilson, please? And we also have a representative here from the Philadelphia Fire Department as well. Let's give them a round of applause as well. And so with that being said, we're going to have a brief overview of the budget process that we're currently going through at the moment. The budget director for City Council is Helen Lawhead, who will take us through that process.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Helen Lawhead. I am the budget director for City Council. I'm really excited to be here with you all tonight. We're going to go through a presentation. We really want to hear from you, but first we want to do an overview of what's in the current proposed budget. And so this is just a proposal that's in front of council for them to review, to listen to feedback from their constituents like tonight, and then to ultimately make changes to that budget before it's adopted. But we want to go through the proposal with you all tonight. We'll go to the next slide. So what is a city budget? The budget is the City of Philadelphia's yearly plan that shows how much money will be spent on the different programs and services, and how the city uses its resources impacts the lives of businesses, residents, and visitors. As we go through the presentation, I'm going to be using a couple of these key terms. Just want to go through them briefly with you all. And so when we talk about our city's budget, there's two main types of budgets. There's our operating budget, and this funds our day-to-day services and programs. So think about library programs, building inspections. It also covers our personnel expenses like salaries, retirements, and benefits for city workers. We also have our capital budget, and this is going to fund big long-term investments. These are things like building recreation centers or buying our larger vehicles like our trash trucks or our fire trucks. And tonight we're going through the fiscal year 2026 budget, the proposal, and this means that this is the 12-month period that we use for our budgeting. It'll start on July 1, 2025, and it'll end on June 30th, 2026. We're also going to talk through the city's revenues. So these are the funds that are collected by the city, like our taxes, some of our fines and fees. It also includes revenue we receive from the state or the federal government. And then we'll talk through our expenditures. These are really the money that we use to spend during the course of the year on the city's operations. And finally, we'll mention the fund balance. This is the money that is left over at the end of the year. And it's really important that we maintain a healthy fund balance so that we can respond when there's uncertainties in our economy. Councilmember Gauthier mentioned a few of these fiscal challenges that the city is seeing. There's a lot of federal uncertainty, and that has an impact on our city's budget. The city is also in the process of renegotiating its labor contracts, so with our fire, our police unions, DC 33, We also have a lot of ongoing costs, such as payments for debt and money that we've borrowed in the past. And then we also have a lot of pressure on the service demands of our city. We know that we have to deliver a high level of service, and that really puts pressure on our budget. And so what is the city doing to make sure that we're maintaining our fiscal health and responsibility? And mainly that comes in the form of making sure we set aside reserves in our city's budget, just like you do with your own personal expenses, putting aside a little bit of savings so that you have that in the bank when you need to respond to any type of emergency. And so some of the key highlights for our budget. So over the next 5 years, this proposal includes $2.3 billion in operating spending. So again, that's the day-to-day services, and then $1.47 billion in new capital investments. So those are going to be the large infrastructure investments. And they're focused in some of the core priority areas. We're going to go and dive deeper into those in the next few slides. And then this proposal also includes a variety of tax changes, and we'll go through those briefly as well. So one of the major investments that we're looking at is tax investments for job creation. And so this budget is proposing some changes to the Philadelphia tax system, especially those taxes on our businesses and workers. This can drive away some of those businesses, and really the aim is to make the city more competitive, attract businesses that create good paying jobs. And so this proposal includes reducing our business tax, which we refer to as BIRT, which means Business Income and Receipts Tax. It also includes reducing the wage tax, and that's both for our residents and our non-residents that work in the city. We also have a change to our tax exemption. Currently, small businesses in the city, and all businesses get the first $100,000 of their BIRT exempted from having to pay on that amount. However, because of a legal challenge to the city, that exemption has to be removed. So in order to respond to that, the city is proposing $30 million a year, and that will total $150 million over 5 years to help support businesses, especially our small businesses, as they start and grow in Philadelphia. And then there are some other initiatives that also require some tax changes that are included in this proposal. The Councilmember mentioned the home initiative for our housing plan for the city, and some of the tax changes that are being proposed to help support this plan include eliminating the construction impact tax. This is a tax that is used on construction, and so the proposal is to eliminate that to make construction costs a little bit lower as part of this plan. There is a proposal for the real estate transfer tax. This would increase the tax on property sales, and this would be used to help fund the housing programs. There's also a proposal to increase a document recording fee, and this again would be used to help fund the housing plan. All right, and so some of the key highlights for our operating budget for this upcoming fiscal year. So for fiscal year 2026, it includes $356 million in new spending. The large majority of that is seen in our public safety priority area, and we'll talk through a few of those highlights. And then on the next slide, we'll go through the capital budget for FY26. There's a projection of $337.2 million in new spending. And that's really focused in public safety and then our economic development portion. If we could go back a few slides, we can go over that. Yes. There we go. Tax changes for the school district. Thank you. So this proposal includes increasing the portion of the real estate tax that goes to our school district from 56% to 56.5%. And that would not start until fiscal year 30, and so that's 5 years from now. This really increases the portion of our real estate tax that goes to our school district. And then there's also a proposal to increase the on-street parking rates in Center City alone. And again, that funding goes directly to the school district. Thank you. No, not this time, but we'll take that question down. Thank you. All right, so some of the highlights for our public safety. This includes $67 million over 5 years for a new forensic science center. Also $25 million in FY26 for anti-violence grants. Funding for our prison staff so they have body cameras, and then additional funding for our Vision Zero to improve our safety projects, including concrete barriers along Spruce and Pine Streets, among other initiatives. In our clean and green area, this is really looking at improving the cleanliness of the city. Some of the proposals here include ongoing funding for citywide cleaning programs, $4.2 million for planters along our commercial corridors, $3 million for the Office of Sustainability to help with flood resilience projects, specifically in the Eastwick neighborhood, and then almost $5 million for our mural arts department to help with some beautification projects. In our area of economic opportunity for all, some of the key investments here include $10 million in FY26, so that's this upcoming fiscal year, to support the City College for municipal employment, $8.5 million to support the Pennsylvania Horticultural Society, and then $6 million over 5 years to sustain the same-day work and pay program. There's also funding included in here to help with the study of Market East, and to really look at how that area can incorporate public feedback for future development. And then our education, as I mentioned before, the proposal includes shifting some of that tax to go more to the school district. So that would lead to an additional $12 million for the school district in FY30. The proposal also includes expanding the extended day, extended year program that the mayor launched this prior year, and then also including support for the Community College of Philadelphia. And this is all on top of the additional $280 million that the city gives to the school district for the upcoming fiscal year. And then again, as the council member mentioned, this plan includes a proposal of $800 million as a part of the Housing Opportunities Made Easy program, HOME. And this would also add some additional staff to the Department of Planning and Development to make sure this program can get off the ground. And then we also, as I mentioned earlier, are investing in the city's workforce. So there is $550 million set aside to help as the city renegotiates its contracts with its city workforce. And then finally, some of the other key initiatives here. The city is investing in this proposal $216 million for the wellness ecosystem, and then additional funding for the city for the 2026 events that are coming up next year. This will bring the total investment for that to $100 million, and then this is in addition to funding that is through our airport as well. And so some of these are just the very high-level overview of what's included in this proposal. So would love to hear reactions to what you saw in this proposal right now, but would also love to hear what you saw that was missing. And so at this point, I'm going to turn it back over to the council president to start.
And so we know people want to express a variety of different things, and you have that right. But I will ask if you can be direct with your question. I'm going to say it again. If you could be direct with your question, we'll have to hypothesize, a thesis, dissertation, and then ask the question. Now, I know you want to express some things about what we are doing that's not right, or we could do better, and some of you are going to come up and maybe talk about things that we are doing great and want to see us doing more. But even within that context, if you can summarize and get directly to your point, and that's why we say at least take a minute, because you're going to go over it anyway, but we're going to give you a minute to get started. So with that being said, I'm going to work this with my co-host, Councilman Jamie Gauthier. I'm going to start with Ms. Riddick.
Hey, thank you very much. Good evening, everyone. And it's actually a question. It's not going to be a dissertation or anything. So I was wondering in terms of, and again, not knowing if this fits into your budget, in regards to OHS, the Office of Homeless Services, we have one of the largest homeless shelters out here in Southwest. In terms of funding, is that something that would be or is part of the city budget?
Yes. Currently, we're kind of going back and forth with the administration. My team didn't know that there is a $5 million reduction in OHS's budget as compared to last year. We are not pleased with that given the rise in homelessness, particularly the rise in street homelessness. And so it's my goal, and I hope that my colleagues will support us getting that money and then some in the budget, because we know that we need to invest in our shelter system and other ways to house people. You want to add?
Okay.
Y'all can go ahead and clap. Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Riddick. And also that particular housing facility you're referring to is the Otley House, which we definitely support, and so we will be supporting members of council supporting Member Jamie Gauthier as she advocates. And also I have a working group where we're looking at this issue comprehensively, and not so much to prepare. Some people want to clean up the city to prepare for our nation's celebration, but it's the morally right thing to do. And so, yes, we will be advocating and addressing the issue.
Excuse me. Thank you, council members, for holding this town hall. I will do my best to stick to the 1-minute timeline. Please allow me the moments to express myself, because I do believe what I have to say is important. My name is Suzanne Thornton. I live on the 6100 block of Chancellor Street. I've lived there for almost 3 years now, and in that time, I've seen my property value decrease, while my real estate taxes increase, and the overall cost of living increase, while there has been no change in the quality, which is quite poor, of the public services in my neighborhood. I want to know what's going on, and why isn't my tax money going towards services that my neighborhood needs most? I live in a vibrant community with many young families next to a large natural space, the Cobbs Creek Park, where I've seen wild foxes and even bald eagles. We have valuable but strained community resources, such as the Laura Sims Skate Center. We have new, safer bike lanes on Walnut and Chestnut Street. We have an amazing playground near 63rd and Cedar. And we have ongoing construction on the Cobbs Creek Rec Center and the creation of a rain garden north of Market Street. These are all great, but my community is stifled from thriving due to city neglect. These resources, especially Cobbs Creek Park, are overrun with litter, feces, heroin needles, and baggies, stray dogs, and I've encountered several dumped dead dogs as well on my walks through the park. My neighbors can't seem to enjoy a nice day without the obnoxious blare of an ice cream truck, or a nice evening without fireworks going out every which way. This is an issue I've contacted Councilmember Gauthier about before, but I've received no feedback from your office, so I'm bringing it up again here. I believe this is an important issue because it is difficult to tell the difference between errant fireworks and gunshots. And for people with PTSD, especially victims of gun violence or veterans, this is especially traumatizing. Additionally, there are many large dogs that live on the blocks around my house and my neighborhood, and the stats show about 50% of dogs are fearful of fireworks, and we all know a fearful dog is a dangerous dog. The result of this is that I have a tense and unrested community. I'm afraid that all the new construction will be for naught if the city does not also prioritize the infrastructure for public services that cater to the residents who live here. And if you give me one moment, I do want to end on a constructive criticism note with a few suggestions that I think would greatly benefit my community. The neglect from the city is dehumanizing. It's a drain on my community spirit, but it could be fixed by things as simple as more serviced public trash cans, serviced dog waste stations with baggies in every park area, public restrooms that are actually serviced so that I don't continue to see grown men defecate out in the open, reinstate regular bulk trash collection, actually offer electronic and hazardous waste collection services so that batteries, including car batteries, and AC units don't end up in our parks and storm drains. Improve the efficiency of buses by, for example, cracking down on illegal double parking, especially during peak traffic hours, or cracking down on abandoned vehicles and those without licenses to free up parking. We need crosswalks on the intersections near every school.
Yeah, you got
for the safety of
I've
children.
been more than generous, ma'am. And you have 2 long lines.
I will save my other recommendations.
Yes,
for my
ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much for bringing up your concerns tonight. We all know that our area was hit especially hard by the new property tax assessments that came out last year. That was not the decision of council. That is not in council's control. However, what council did do was expand property tax relief as much as we could. We took the homestead exemption up to $100,000, and we also created a new low-income property tax freeze program that we're trying to get as many people to apply for as possible. Thank you also for noting some of the public improvements. The library, I believe we're having a ribbon cutting on the library this week or next week, so pretty soon. And we should be reopening or finishing construction on the rec center soon. We've also worked very, very hard on the traffic safety improvements along Cobbs Creek Parkway. But you bring up really good points about taking care of our park in a better way. I think a lot of that lies in the Parks and Rec budget. I would personally love to see more staff in that budget, because I think that a lot of our parks need staff in order to have eyes on the park and the ongoing sort of upkeep that we need. That's something that I'm pushing for in the budget. I have heard this fireworks issue many times. I'm just going to be very transparent with you. I would love ideas on how to address this legislatively. So, this is something I can talk about with my staff. And also, if you have ideas, please feel free to send them my way. I don't know if everybody would agree with you on ice cream trucks, but, certainly willing to consider ideas in that realm as well. And thank you so much for your feedback tonight.
Hello, good evening. My name is Jalita Holloway James. I am the owner of a small business in West Philly, Central Life Skills. With this, I teach life-saving skills. I did speak with some council members who are not here about bringing that program called Stop the Bleed and helping to save lives with all this gun violence that is radiating our city. Actually, I am a survivor. 43 years ago, right around the corner, I was shot in the head. So violence is still here. I praise God that I am still here to speak about it. So I've also lost several children since 2015 to 2023 due to gun violence. Okay, what I'm asking for City Council to find in their budget to be able to offer the community how to save lives related to loss of blood. Okay, I have demonstrated that in front of some city council members who are not here. That's what I'm asking, and this is for the community. For the community. If we have the training and some of the tools, we will go back for that stranded one that's down. But we don't know what to do.
Thank you so much for the program that you have brought to the community and that you have done, even though you've experienced so much trauma yourself. We would love to, help you set up some workshops in the community. If you want to do that, you should also applying for grant funds if you need it from the city. We have the activity grant fund, which provides small grants in the realm of a few $1,000s. But because of this council in 2021, we stood up, we told Mayor Kenny we would not approve a budget that didn't include $100 million for gun violence prevention. That was the start of the community expansion grant program, which provides up to $1 million for community-based violence prevention program. So you should be looking on the city website on phila.gov for resources to fund your program if that's of need. And beyond that, my office would be happy to help you set up some workshops here in the community.
Well, thank you.
Thank you so much.
We also have been joined by Councilman Rue Landau. Rue, raise your hands. Hello. Sir.
I've been a block captain for a long time. 44th Street between Spruce and Pine. That's called Spruce Hill because it's hilly. There are very few spruce trees still around. I'm going to keep this.
Excuse me 1 second, sir. Be at ease. Whoever's doing our audio, his microphone is going in and out.
All right. Is this better?
Much better.
My name is Bill Burrison. and I'm going to keep this as short as I can. My complaint or problem in my neighborhood is small potatoes from what you just heard. Thanks, John. All right, better. We have had a pattern through the summers, and it's getting hot warmer now, of water bug infestation on the streets. Nobody really knows what's causing it exactly. You could blame different people. You could blame agencies. My guess is it's partly related to the sewage system and breeding when they breed. But we could use some help in my neighborhood dealing with this. I've seen neighbors actually outside at night feeling they have to stomp on these little vermin and kill them if they don't get into your bathroom or your house. So my question is this a matter that more money and government budgeting, including budgeting, can best address, or just better communication between the water and the streets department and the public health agencies of the city?
I also hate water bugs. I see them in the summer as well. I didn't know they were a thing that we can ask the water department if there's anything that we can do about it. I'm not sure off of the top of my head, to be honest. I welcome any other council members that have solutions to this problem.
Jamie, I think we should bring this up with the public health department to kind of see if there's any eradication program there, what could be causing this and how we eliminate those. But I'd be happy to follow up with you so we can get to your constituent about this.
Nina is our resident scientist, so it's good to have her here tonight.
Mr. Nasir.
Hi, good evening, everyone. Thank you for the opportunity. My name is Ray Nasser. I was a former Philadelphia Activities Fund Board of Director. Thank you for mentioning it. This is a great Activities Fund program that the city has. I'm all support on increasing the Activities Fund. However, I would like to have a little bit more of like an appeal system for those organizations who do not get the money that they require, that they deserve. So if we can work something out, that way they can appeal, because sometimes the decision is made and not everybody can go through the whole application, all the programs that the community has. And that's a great activity. I hope it will never stop, because I think it's the only city in the country who has it. And a lot of communities has, I can't even speak, guys, has been benefit from it. So I'm approved, but if you could please have something that they can appeal, because if they ask for $3,000, they get $500, and they have to stop most of the programs because they didn't get the funding. Thank you.
I love that idea. We have several council members on the board, so we'll refer that idea to them.
I have another question. Is there a way to partner with our philanthropic partners? So when there's somebody gets $500, if like Philadelphia Foundation has set aside funds, maybe there's a way to match what we do when we are not able to fulfill the full request.
I think that's great. I think we should refer those ideas to the board. I believe Councilmember Bass, Councilmember O'Neill, and others sit on that body.
Okay.
Good evening, everybody.
Good evening, sir.
Glad to see you, Council. My name is Nathaniel Turner. I'm going to go into the inheritance tax. I think the city did a terrible job with that tax. I learned about that tax from a young lady I grew up with, named Miss Thomasina. So I learned about that tax about 60 years old. And I inherited that tax from my family. It's like a student loan. And I think the city handled that tax so poorly, even in my neighborhood, I think it should be sponged. Now, you beat out Janie Blackwell, and I was going to talk to her about it, because she wiped out a lot of tickets for everybody. But on a real, I see the numbers with that. So when you see numbers like that, that meant that, I can't say you didn't do your job because everybody's new. But that was around a long time, and I think it was hidden under the table. And I think I live in Southwest Philly, West Shore. I was going to ask for that tax to be sponged. I don't want to pay any of it because I just think that it was just wrong the way it was done. And the inheritance tax, everybody, is a war tax that has a loophole for the rich. And we're here.
Well, I'm sure wiping out those parking tickets made Ms. Blackwell the most popular council member of all time. So I have to put my thinking cap on. The council president does have a tax reform commission. I'm going to let him chime in on this one.
We haven't addressed the issue of inheritance tax, but I could take that information back. But I know the inheritance tax has been around like forever, right? But we can have that conversation. I know we do have in place a variety of different tax relief measures to help people stay inside their homes. But the tax in terms of transferring property from one individual to another individual, I experienced it myself working with the Department of Register of Wills when my nana passed away, so I do understand if you are a sibling and you're inheriting a home, right, you do get a big bill that you have to figure out how you have to pay in order for you to inherit the actual property. But I'll take this back to the Tax Reform Commission. I don't think anything is going to be done on this immediately, to be quite frank with you, so I'm not going to lead you down, a type of scenario which I think is going to happen in the immediate future, but I will say that this has come up and get feedback and go from there.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Act like, when you look at it, change my community to Penn.
But just for the record, Penn has to pay inheritance tax too as well. So the neighbors in that area, they have to pay the same thing.
Good afternoon, City Council. Thank you guys for coming. I appreciate it. I am a registered voter, and I have voted for you, so I thank you for doing your jobs as we have elected you to do. My name is Rena as well, and I'm with 1PA West and Southwest chapter for providing for, better homes, healthy homes for everyone, safe and healthy homes for across the board, no matter who you are, what ethnic, anybody. We are doing a campaign as we have in a, past. I spoke to you guys about it. I'm here asking you that when you go back and you go over the budget, please keep in mind what we're asking for again. We're asking for $10 million for proactive rental inspection for the campaign. And we really need that money because we really need inspectors for L&I to go in and inspect these rental properties because individuals are renting the properties out. They're covering up shady things. They're doing wiring, plumbing. They're doing all kind of shady work, and they're putting people in the properties. And when they get in the properties, they finding out that there's holes and the wiring is not working properly, or the plumbing is just shoddy and it's clogging. So we need inspectors for that as well. And we're also asking for $10 million for home repairs for people who are on low income or who are on Social Security, a pension, who are retired, whatever the circumstances are. They own their homes, but they just don't have the funds to fix their homes up. They need roofs, they need plumbing, wiring. It's a young lady on my block. I call her a young lady, but she's about 80-some years old. We all call her Mom. I don't even know her real name, but she answers when we say Mom, so she's Mom. And she was explaining to me that she needs some wiring work on the outside, a light fixture. The other day when I was picking up, because I'm the block captain for our block, she said her light went out, it's not working, and she don't have the money or the income means to use, electricity. And then she goes to tell me that she applied for assistance through the state to get, food and all, and that she was over. She worked her whole life. How can she be over and can't get food stamps? I can't understand it. Something needs to be done about that. And it was another young lady on our block that passed away that was about 87. The church that I attend, Ezekiel, my daughter they have a food pantry. And she was constantly coming to my door asking me for food. So on Thursdays morning, my daughter would go to our church and get her a basket of food and take to her. But unfortunately, she passed away because of other health elements. But, you know, when you work your whole life and you pay taxes, you should not have to worry at this late in life.
That's
so
right. Thank you.
I'm going to end it there, but I'll see you next week to tell you about the other things that I have for my neighborhood that we need.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
We appreciate the work of 1PA West Southwest Rising, and I want you to know these things are on our radar. My colleague, Minority Whip Nicholas O'Rourke, just had a hearing about L&I moving towards proactive rental inspections, and the commissioner wants to do this. She's commissioned a proposal from Hugh to map out how the city would carry this out. And then on your other issue, home repairs, we expect, or we're hopeful that that can be funded through the mayor's $800 million housing proposal. So we are squarely focused on your request, and thank you so much.
Okay, thank you. And I'll see you guys next week at the meeting.
Hi, my name is Sandra Stewart, and I also want to thank you for being out tonight. My question is, I didn't see anything about the tax abatement, that 10-year tax abatement. Why are people still getting the 10-year tax abatement? Or am I wrong?
Yeah, just for the record, we voted about maybe 3 or 4 years ago to eliminate the 10-year tax abatement, and so based upon how this works is how many votes you have will determine the outcome. And so the agreement that we came up with as relates to members in council is to phase it out over a period of time. And so I think now the developers only get about 40%. So over the next 4 years it'll be totally phased out. And so the full year 10-year tax abatement doesn't even exist as it used to be. So just want to say that for the record.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome, ma'am.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Stephanie Booker. I want to publicly thank Councilwoman Gauthier for being so responsive for every call. You can't hear my voice, John? Okay. But anyway, I want to publicly thank Councilwoman Gauthier for being so responsive to the needs of Ahari and even anything that I call her for, and working with me on my development. I'm not asking for $10 million, but I'm asking for our development over in University City. We have the land. We raised $2.5 million. We had to give back $500,000 because y'all took too long to get the MPI money out. So when is the MPI money coming out, and how much is it going to be?
Steph, thank you so much for being here. We so appreciate Ahari, and I'm 150% behind your proposal. We did have a little bit of a transition with DHCD, so it took them long to get those RFPs out, but you have my support. The next time RFPs come out that you are eligible for, I will do the strongest letter of support that I can, and you know we'll also support you to get state funding as well. And
I'm also asking for support from everyone on this panel here, everyone except you in the white shirt and the jacket.
They got you.
Support me. Yeah, and it's for our veterans, you know.
But this is the one that controls the budget. So she's the one that say how we spending the money.
But it's for our veterans. And the reason why I'm saying that is from COVID, we had Impact Services close down a building of 100 units. 100 units, and I lost 5 of my veterans to suicide. And I don't know where the rest of them are. So something has to be done.
So we'll be supportive of Councilman Jamie Gauthier's efforts. That's first and foremost. Also, I worked with an organization called Catch in South Philadelphia, where we specifically do housing specifically for veterans. And so however I could be supportive of you from that aspect, don't hesitate to let me know. And I work with Councilman Jamie Gauthier. And also, from the state standpoint, there's also funding from Pennsylvania Housing and Finance Agency specifically on tax credits to help you build for.
I have $500,000 of their money in my account right now, and I just got list money as well.
They have billions of dollars. They can give you more.
Well, whatever we can do to be supportive, I'll be supporting Councilman Jamie Gauthier to support you. But keep up the good work, though, in all seriousness.
How you doing, Mr. Johnson?
Just a moment.
We're going to rotate and go back and forth.
Good evening, Kimberly Waller from Southwest now in South Philadelphia. Hi, how are you? I have a question. Individuals with intellectual disabilities and autism, the services here in Philadelphia are horrid. Horrid when they leave school. It's hard enough for them to get services in school. When they become adults, the services are even worse. I only see one person writing.
Don't worry, the staff is recording your concerns.
Okay. There's no one. One place closed down, and they don't send the files. They halfway send the information that needs to be sent to the next agency where the individual is supposed to be taken on. And the person that's suffering is the person that needs the services. Where are the services going to come in? And from that, I also have to say, when they're children, they grow up, and then that's our homeless population. A lot of them have what? Mental health issues. A lot of them have intellectual disabilities. It's a cycle. We want the cycle to end, and who's going to help?
Thank you so much, and we appreciate your advocacy on this. I know you've been talking to my office and the council president's office, and we want to make sure that we get all of your concerns and refer them to DBH IDS and see what we could do to improve this system. But thank you for being here tonight.
Jamie, can I just comment on that as well? To get it to the Department of Behavioral Health and Intellectual Disabilities, I'd be happy to work with you and your office to have a clearinghouse of knowing what the services are, where they are, and what they do, and when something closes, DBIT should be the one sort of having all the information there.
Should be.
Yeah, well,
should be.
Maybe they will now once we investigate to see how are they keeping track of this. There's a lot of money that comes through. It's a federal dollars that come through there. So I would be happy to come work with you and her office to kind of check and see. And we also have Kendra, who's the chair of the a committee that handles that. So we'll be able to get back with you with some kind of a response about what is the status of a directory and closings and openings and all of that.
And I can also work with Councilmember Dr. Nina Mott on the issue. And interesting that you brought this topic up, because I am working with a gentleman. Son has autism. He does autism advocacy around the city of Philadelphia. You may know him from they advocate for the signs that say individuals have autism when you're riding down the street, just for people to be alert, right? Mm-hmm. I don't have his name off the top of my head, but
like the street signs.
The street signs, yes. He started a movement around his son, but he did bring up the concept that was mentioned to me today. So it's ironic you bring it up about creating an Office of Autism Support. And that was just brought to our attention like earlier today, to be at least begin to exploring, right? And so, well, this idea literally just came out for us to explore, but obviously the Department of Behavioral Health and Intellectual Disabilities needs to be at the table to see how they can even play a role if something like this can even move forward. But it should be a central location that's advocating for our young people and people in general that have autism.
Because they're not going anywhere.
And so we can do a follow-up and see how that conversation goes in terms of moving forward.
Snap it up. Snap it up.
Not
going anywhere.
All right. Hey, Ms. Shu.
Hi, how are you, Mr. Johnson? I want to talk to the lady with the checkbook. I'm here on behalf of my community and the community of Philadelphia. I heard you, when I walked in here, this young lady speak of the budget for many frontline neighborhoods like Market East, places like that. I heard a lot of funding going to the development of the facade of Philadelphia. What I would like to know is what amount of money is going to be allocated for the behind-the-scenes neighborhoods in Philadelphia, because we are suffering, okay? Our municipalities are suffering, and I want to address two issues that I believe is a crime issue and a quality of life issue for many Philadelphians. One is, I have been complaining about the foliage in the city of Philadelphia for over 6 years. I have contacted the 311 liaison, and she has, the only thing that has progressed is the emails. She has done a phenomenal job trying to get the word out, but it stopped. No action was taken. The foliage, meaning the trees that are hanging low in many of our neighborhoods that are making our streets dark. Some of the women are afraid to come home. People are afraid to come home. I'm afraid to go in my neighborhood. I have to look at a video camera before I go down my block on my phone that I have. The foliage is blocking the video cameras, the security cameras. It's becoming a safety issue and a quality of life issue. The streets, I have contacted the park department years ago, and the guy came out with one little saw, and he just said, I can just move this. Seriously. Wait a minute. So I want to know, and I would like to see monies allocated for trimming back the trees on every Philadelphia street.
So, let's go back to the quality of life issues first and foremost. So I got to give my mayor, I got to give our mayor, Sherelle Parker, credit. Let me tell you why. Because every mayor that comes forward has an agenda and a plan. And the mayor decided in her first term to focus on neighborhoods, right? Focus on cleaning and greening. That was the biggest part of our budget, right? In some parts of the city, you're picking up trash 2 days a week, which is being expanded. But particularly on cleaning and greening, there's funding to address issues such as you just mentioned. Now, I'm gonna tell you what the rub is, though. And so I need to follow with you on this. That shouldn't be an issue. Because in South Philly and Girard Estate, I know for a fact, because I represent the area, they go trim trees, to be quite frank with you. So to hear this coming from you is a little like, we got to address this as a matter of equity. I'm just being frank with you. Because I know for a fact I've worked with Streets Department and Parks and Rec to cut those particular trees. And so maybe we kind of take a look at what the issue is from that aspect.
Okay, I get what you're saying, and I'm not trying to take anything from Cheryl Parker, but I know the reality of the neighborhoods. Yeah. I have been complaining online in the city social media areas about the low-hanging trees. There's really no negotiation about that, okay? All right, so we need to have funding for that in the back neighborhoods, okay? Also, I want to address another issue. I am responsible for TNRing 30 cats. That means trap, neuter, and release. People are coming. We have a stray animal issue in this city. People are getting kittens, and as soon as they get old enough to be thrown out, they're thrown out and they're dumped. And then they just keep recycling. I am tired of seeing dead kittens in the neighborhood. I have been responsible for getting 30 cats TNR'd on 2 sides of my block. I'm from 61st and Dewey, which is a high crime area. Getting back to the trees real quick, trees are falling. Whole trees are falling, okay? Kids play in the breezeway. Trees are falling, okay? the TNR situation, the stray cats and the stray animal situation, there was a woman across the street who had her dog in the house for 3 to 6 months. And she would only come back once a month to feed it. My neighbors didn't respond. I finally responded. I contacted SPCA. They didn't respond. I called them. They didn't respond. I had to go down there personally and tell them, if you don't get out here and see about that animal, I'm going to the media. Okay? What I want to do, I want to see happen, I want to see a good amount of money allocated for these issues. Now, the SPCA, I went to the SPCA, she said, I'm sorry, miss, we only have 2 people who covers the whole PA area. Okay, they need more people, to hire more people to deal with these abandonment and neglect issues. ACT needs more funding because they are not getting the funding they need to spay and neuter these animals. I feed 9 cats. I didn't want to be a cat lady, okay? But I saw these cats in need, and I cannot, it's a life.
Thank you.
So I just want to see a good amount of money allocated for these issues.
Thank you so much.
Hello. Hi, Councilman. How are you? All is well. Hello to everyone. My name is Annette Randolph, and my husband is in the back. I live on the 2000 block of Ellsworth Street. He's over there, Councilman. He's over there. So my concern is abandoned homes. I have a home that's next door to me that has been abandoned since 2003 that has tore up my home. I've had to pay almost $32,000 to have my front done from this home. And now the back of my home looks like Sanford and Son because of this home. This home has even had a tree grow from on the inside. The tree have grown from the inside. My whole yard is messed up. I have done everything that the city has required me to do. L&I, I'm still waiting on L&I, 20 days to wait. Abandoned houses, I'm all for new homes. All homes are nice to have. But what about when these homes tear up other people's properties? And as long as, now the people are deceased, but there is someone that is paying taxes on this particular home. So long as the city is getting a couple of dollars, they sweep it underneath the rug. But I am the one that is suffering. When my home was about to fall, they told me I had to leave. And I said, I'm not going anywhere. Let the house fall. So we need houses. I need some help. I've done everything. I've sent letters up, etc. I've complained. I've done everything. And I'm in the need because right now, these trees that was in the backyard, which they have grown, the roots of the trees have broke up my yard and now have broke up my pipes underneath because the roots, they just spread, So now here I am spending more money again. And I need help, serious help. I don't have money to continue to keep doing this. I am the 4th generation to this home. I've been there, I've lived there, raised there, and I do still have the same telephone number when the house was still built. So I am a longtime resident, and I need some help. Thank you.
So, Ms. Randolph, I'm going to have you speak to John Christmas, because I know we never approached this from a legal standpoint, and I know it's complicated because the taxes are being paid, so technically somebody still owns the house, so it's abandoned, but as long as they pay them taxes, it's kind of complicated in terms of what we can and can't do. But John, could you talk to Ms. Randolph from a legal standpoint, because somebody does own the property, paying all the taxes and so forth, but you may see another way legally that this can be addressed, and also we'll address the L&I issue. But if that tree is growing inside your home, right, I would think that the actual owner should be liable because it's their property and they're paying the taxes on it. And that's why I think from a legal standpoint, John, you may see something or something on the books where we hold the owner accountable. Matter of fact, Jeffrey Young has a bill similar.
Our colleague Anthony Phillips actually developed a program with Clip where I believe that they will take down trees like that. So I think we should, yeah.
The house was, the tree was taken down, but L&I called us to ask us, who did the thing. We don't know. But when they went into the house to take it down, they didn't get it all. And now the roof is about to collapse, so nevertheless, I'll get with him.
And John, see if the house could be recommended for demo.
It was supposed to be.
See if that could be the case. Thank you. Sir?
Oh, of course, I know.
Hey y'all, my name is Sergio Say. I use he, him pronouns. I live at 53rd and Catherine in Cobbs Creek. Appreciate the opportunity to speak with y'all. There are a lot of things I'm passionate about, so we'll see what I can get in here. I'm not very excited about this budget, first and foremost, as somebody who has been tear gassed and shot at by the police. I'm not excited about the increases to budget for police funding. Alfonso Rainey was just killed by the police. The police lied about it and said that he tried to shoot him. Now we know that the police shot each other. So I would like some more funding for mobile crisis units so that mental health services are responding to these crises instead of the police. I also would like more funding for the Citizens Police Oversight Commission because police lie and somebody needs to hold them accountable when they lie. There's a few other things I want to touch on. Cheryl Parker zeroed out funding for safe needle exchange. Even though the CDC warned that this is going to lead to increases of STI rates with HIV and other blood-borne illnesses, I wish the scientists had stayed here so we could answer why we're ignoring the CDC when they told us, even though we're already, without these cuts, the #1 city for STI rates in the country. And the thing that I'm most mad about, honestly, is that these huge tax cuts for the ultra-wealthy and corporations with this tax plan, at the same time that Mayor Parker is refusing to defend in court the bird exclusion for small businesses, even though Councilmember Maria Quinones-Sanchez said we could win if we actually fight this in court. So why are we giving tax cuts that will be funding all the things we care about for big corporations, while at the same time not fighting for small businesses, at the same time that federally Donald Trump is going to be doing cuts to all of the services that we need to thrive? Thank you.
Thank you, Sergio. I just want you to know that many of us are with you around several of the priorities that you brought up. I have been very involved with the mobile crisis unit issue, especially after the police shooting of Walter Wallace Jr. right here in the 3rd District. We're going to push to make sure that that program is fully funded. We're pushing for more funding for CPOC, and there's a negotiation around what the final tax proposal will look like. So thank you so much for bringing those issues up tonight.
And the safe needle exchange or the tax cuts?
I'm going to be very transparent with you. I don't think that the needle exchange is a winning issue with the administration. I personally agree with you, but I just think the reality is the reality.
I would like for City Council to actually fight to address this concern. We're going to see HIV and other bloodborne illnesses increase all over the city because of this. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. Committeeman Brown, 51st Ward. I want to first begin by thanking whoever was responsible for getting my back driveway paved over. Thank you very much. Number two, as a committee person, I usually get an automatic response when I call you folks. However, COVID threw everything off the tracks. How long is it going to take for us to get back on track? Because we're calling, we get an answering machine, and we leave messages, we don't get any responses. I thought I heard an amen over there. But anyway, with that one, youth jobs. We need to know what's going on with that. The summer's coming up. Can we get an increase in youth employment for the summer? Mm-hmm. How about the parking authority? What role are they playing? Are they fulfilling their obligation with regard to, are they? Parking authority is supposed to be giving monies to the school district? I see. Is that a yes? Yes. They are. They're living up to their obligation. Okay. All right. Last thing, and I'm out of here. Our seniors, very important. we have seniors who are being ripped off by unscrupulous repair people, okay? And they get no support, no help from the court system. For 2 years, I walked with a senior downtown once every 2 months. We won the case in 3 different courts. Won the case, but she couldn't recoup her money. Why? Because she had to get a pro bono lawyer. She had no money to pay for a lawyer. So is there something we can do to help our seniors when they've, been ripped off, living off of Social Security?
I'm going to let Jamie handle it because you're on the third, but I do know you got the Senior Law Center. That's number 1 if she needs a lawyer. Number 2, I know District Attorney Leslie Krasner has a unit that specifically deals with seniors who are being scammed. That's another option as well. And Jamie?
Yeah. Hi, Vernon. Thank you so much for being here. First, if you call the office and you get a voicemail, please leave a message that clearly states your information. I apologize if we haven't gotten back to you, but I have several staff members here, and we can address any concerns that you have tonight. On the issue of helping our seniors, I believe my colleague, Councilmember Rue Landau, is trying to create a consumer finance protection department, if she wants to speak to that.
Hi, good evening. I'm Councilmember Rue Landau, and we introduced, it's already a law here in Philadelphia now, a consumer protection law that mirrors what we have at the state. It was something that was drafted by the mayor's administration, and I introduced it. But what it does is it gives the power to the city to sue some of these scammers on behalf of the folks who are harmed.
How long has that been?
It's only been since about December. So, but it's a unique law because the city has to take action. So if we can find, kind of a pattern of a bad actor that the city will take the action, they are absolutely ready to do it and want to do it.
I'll be reaching out to you because the law of statute of limitations still exists. So I'll be reaching out to you. But with regard to your office?
I can also give you a card too if you want to talk about this law.
I'll gladly take it.
You have my cell number.
I mean, he texted me.
But to council lady, my council lady, some of your staff people said they don't work for me, so they don't take my calls no more.
I would be challenged about anybody saying that to you, and I know you also communicate with me directly quite a lot, but we have staff here and we're willing to take down any of your concerns. Thank you so much, Vernon. Yes, my chief of staff is here, and I have 2 constituent services people here.
Hi, I'm Ann Dixon. I want to thank Councilmember Rue Landau, Jamie Gauthier, and Nicholas O'Rourke for doing the financially responsible thing and voting against the arena. So we're not stuck with that boondoggle, so thank you. And I want you to continue to do the responsible thing by moving the insanely large police budget, where police get even more than they ask for, which is crazy, over to other things. I'm so glad that you want to help fund the mobile crisis units. There was something else. I want there to be no cuts to the BRT or the BIRT or the wage tax. And I have a question, is the last I heard, the consortium was like totally defunded, and that's where the mobile crisis was coming from, and I just wanted an update.
Sure. There were serious issues with the sort of the management of the consortium at the time. A lot of those issues have been addressed by the organization, and it is my sincere sense, because I've talked to the administration many times about this issue, it's my sincere sense that they want to work with the organization so that we have continuity of care. So that's what's been happening. In fact, the administration extended the contract for the consortium to June so that we can work on some of these issues. So the goal is to keep those services in place for the vulnerable people that need them, and I'm directly involved in those conversations.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Linda Carr. I am a stakeholder in both the 2nd and 3rd District. So I'll start with Councilwoman Gauthier. For about 4 years now, I've been dealing with housing behind of me, with one of those housing being the ownership of Philadelphia Housing Authority. One has been abandoned and another one by an investor. I can't remember the name off of the top of my head. But when I pulled up today from work, there was bodily waste, and you can smell the odor in the alleyway. These 3 homes, that is, I guess, I'm not sure if it's like something that is now being followed by this next resident, but these 3 homes throw trash outside of the window. Like I just said, bodily fluid. So in the abandoned house, they just throw the urine or the poop out. I've called 311. I've called your office. No one has done anything. We do have a wonderfully brand new paved driveway, but I don't foresee having barbecues in my backyard where I paid all my taxes, by the way. And I don't foresee having any type of barbecues or anything because, first of all, it's embarrassing, it's lowering the quality of living, and it's just disheartening to come home. It's been over 4 years now. I have taken pictures with raccoons. I've also partnered with sanitation department, who on request will come and pick up stuff that is dumped by the house, the PHA house. 2 weeks ago, PHA came out and they were supposedly clean the backyard. I guess Stevie Wonder did the job because it still looks exactly the same. No one is doing anything, but I'm getting responses back saying that the work has been done. That's a blatant lie. So if I can directly give you these 3 addresses, please, because I would like to enjoy summer of 2025.
Can I respond quickly to that?
What was that?
I would like to respond quickly.
Sure.
First, sorry that you've been having to deal with that. I would love to get your information, get my Chief of Staff, Maria, to get your information. I will call Kelvin Jeremiah myself and tell him that we have to address the PHA property. The other property, I think we need to look into the ownership of it and see if we can get a line to the owner. But you have my commitment that will make this a priority, and I'm really sorry that you've had to deal with that.
Thank you. I forgot the lady's name who was here, 2 people before me. Same thing. Tree going in the backyard. We're like, should we park in the back? Should we not park? It's just poor quality of living. The blight is unacceptable. So that's District 3. According to District 2, where I'm a stakeholder, Kenyatta Johnson, you know my mom, Nayoka Carr. I'm her daughter. She's hiding over there. But, oh, you know who I am. But, and what happened? Yes. So with District 2, we're now having an issue where people are blatantly just making the empty lots parking lots. They're dumping, like some of the parking lots, my accent about to come out for how aggravated I am, but some of the parking lots have 5, 6 cars where people feel comfortable to just pull vehicles up because nobody's doing anything about it.
Are they abandoned or are they just parking it?
They're just pulling and abandoned. They're abandoned. They have school buses on the parking lot. They have other abandoned vehicles. They're just pulling up into the lots and they feel comfortable. This one happened in Delaware County, for sure. And so I would like that to be addressed, as well as to pivot back to District 3. We do need some bright lights so that way we can feel safe on our block. I'm jealous of my mom's block who have wonderful bright lights now. But we do need...
Got the hookup.
Yeah, Mr. Johnson, right. She told me. But please, if we can get those abandoned vehicles that are just parking in these lots, reducing the quality of life, addressed, that will be wonderful.
Is Ty McCoy? Where's Ty McCoy at? Ty, come on in, Ty. It's my Southwest Philadelphia liaison. Raise your hand, Ty.
Hi, Ty. Well, thank you. That's
so
all I have.
So he's born and raised in the neighborhood, and so what he'll do is he'll get the lots from you and the information, and you have my word public. I guarantee that we can address those abandoned lots with parking authority, like in the streets department, like ASAP, and also license and inspection. So we'll jump right on it. Todd,
thank
can you make
so
sure?
Much.
You're welcome. Councilmember Jim Harity.
Just that they are aware of the lots. I called about 81st and Lyons myself. I told the council president they were able to take 12 cars from around the lot. But because the lot is owned by somebody, they have to go through the legal process and able to take the cars, and that's why it's taking a little longer. But they are trying to, and they've already started the process. I flipped out because they went out there. They did get 12 cars from around the lot, but they didn't take anything off the lot, and I was informed that it's privately owned, and they have to take legal action. So we are aware of it.
Thank you, Member Harity. Next.
Hi, everybody. Hi, council members. I just wanted to make two announcements, and I want to ask. One is that a couple years ago, well, this neighborhood has been impacted by 2 mass shootings. So one of the things I wanted to bring some good news as an announcement. So finally, like, we're responding. So we're right here. King Sesson Hills is opening up on the 2nd floor. Our grand opening is the 11th of April. Those in this area, you're invited. King Sesson Hills is at 2 p.m. Please come through. We'll have plenty of healing programming, mental health therapy, all kind of healing modalities. Please come through. Okay? The second ask. Some of the things in the budget I was looking at, they were talking about funding for, this is separate from King Sesson Hills, let's be clear. So there were some of the things in the budget. They were talking about, like, gun violence prevention funding and, you know, some projections around, like, the 5-year plan around the opioid prevention, which was at a zero. Every time I get to this mic with you, council member, this is the buzzer. But no, so like the zero budget for opioid prevention. So when we talk about like the back, like the boots on the ground worker for the smaller organizations, Women Beyond Borders. So we're talking about like reentry and workforce development. Well, everybody doesn't have an opioid crisis, but they have a previous substance abuse issue. So, and then we're talking about the unions coming and training them. And the unions do hire justice-impacted individuals if they can pass the assessment test. So Women Beyond Borders is a boots-on-the-ground organization. There's nothing on there about the workforce development and the reentry or the pre-entry programming in the budget.
It is. How much investment is put to the side? Is it $10 million for workforce development? So there's a $10 million.
Going to the other, like, those other things, like, I mean, like, how do I access it? I guess that should be the question.
Okay, that's the best way to reframe it. Yeah. So, as Councilman Jamie Gauthier just mentioned, we have invested significantly in the Office of Violence Prevention, which we call boots on the ground funding, community expansion grants. That's the main vehicle for organizations such as yours to get significant funding. And on a smaller scale, we do the PAF grants, right, which is Philadelphia Activity Fund grants, and that's on a smaller scale. But for me, at least, it's funding to get you started. But we don't have a problem working with you to have a conversation with the Office of Violence Prevention to get you in a pipeline for your program to be reviewed to get funding to do the type of reentry work that you are doing.
Okay, and last but not least, we just got a house, and it's on Ringhold Street, but it's off of 60 or 59th and Ringhold. I don't know whose district I'm in. It's off of Woodland Avenue.
That would be me.
My two besties. I'll be to see y'all.
Thank you. Make sure we talk. Thank you. Sir?
Good evening, everybody. My name is Antoine Lewis. I'm a member of 1PA. I'm here to, support the Healthy Home campaign, but we're asking for $10 million, obviously, and I wanted to highlight just for the low-income homeowners. A lot of times when we talk about low-income people, you hear about the senior citizens, the veterans, and all the older people who fit in to don't kill me, y'all, that fit into a larger category, but we oftentimes forget about the young people. I just turned 30 myself. So within the last 6 years, I've watched my grandfather die, try to pass off property to me. I've watched my friends that I grew up with that went to school, mind you, were very educated, went to Bloomsburg University and several different colleges, all faced with the same problem of, I'm only low income because I'm just starting my career. I'm fresh out of college. I'm trying to make money. Where are the programs for those people? And maybe some of the education for keeping their houses, because while I'm lucky enough to have worked for 1PA and to gather a lot of information, a lot of my peers weren't able to find the same information. I even went looking for it for myself outside of 1PA to maybe see where it is. That the failure, for lack of a better term. And before you do address that, I did want to second the lady that was talking about the ASPCA and dogs and things of that nature, because I'm currently at 53rd and Catherine. I have a dog myself that I need to get rid of because I'm moving. I went to ASPCA. They sent me a list of just people that I can talk to, called every single person. No one can house my dog. No one can take them. I can't even put them down responsibly. So then as I started asking around the neighborhood, because it is a very big dog neighborhood, hey, y'all, what can I do with my dog? The solution was to take them up the Cobb Street, leave them there.
I wanted to address your concern specifically around low-income housing resources. First, I created a new property tax program with the support of my colleagues called the Low Income Property Tax Freeze. If you have not gone on the city's website to see if you are eligible, please do so. We just got the application deadline extended until September. And that will freeze your taxes at the prior year level so that you don't experience some of the dramatic increases that other folks have. Second, if we do go through and approve the mayor's housing plan, which is asking for $800 million, one of the big things that will fund is basic systems repair. I would say that's probably the most popular home repair program in the city. It provides up to $25,000 in grant resources for people to make critical repairs they would not be able to afford otherwise. We also have other programs that council has been instrumental in creating, like Philly First Home, which gives $10,000, I believe, in grant money for you to put a down payment on a home and become a home buyer. And I believe the mayor is also proposing a new mortgage program that would help people that have been denied by banks. And so this is something that's on our radar, and we're willing to hear even more ideas for how we help low-income homeowners, because the thing about Philadelphia is we've always had a high level of home ownership among every socioeconomic class, and that distinguishes us from other cities, and we want to keep that in place. So thank you for bringing up those concerns. They're important to us as well.
We have a stop at 8, and so we're going to cut the line.
Hello, good evening. My name is Nefertari Rayner. So I hear a lot of problems. I hear animals, I hear environmental justice, I hear all types of things, but my problem is the Philadelphia School District and schools predominantly in black neighborhoods, because we know that we suffer the most because of redlining, discrimination, poverty, all types of things. So we need help. We need more CTE programs, career technical programs, so people can graduate not only with their diplomas, but work-ready programs, and that goes back into the city because they can get their jobs, faster and put back into the city. And also, we need more mental health partnerships and workshops for children in Philadelphia School District. A lot of kids are going through stuff, poverty, they're taking care of their siblings, helping pay bills, and when you have no counselor, nobody to talk to, you're struggling, you go out. Our youth is struggling. They're killing each other. They're killing elders. They're doing a lot of things. And if we kind of have prevention and not intervention, I think that'll stop a lot of problems. It's not going to be perfect, but we can stop a lot of problems. I know when you guys were in school, you guys had home ec. You guys, gym, y'all had to climb ropes. We ain't do none of that. I went to gym, and I barely went to gym. They was like, I'm fit. I don't need to go to gym. They was like, all right, don't go to gym. And I'm like, well, damn. Guess I don't got to go to gym. So I just feel like a lot of things can be prevented if we started at a young age. And also, we don't have a lot of courses for our black and underprivileged children in Philadelphia public schools. So like finances, stuff about APR percentages, credit. Most people graduate don't know how to sign a check. So a lot of things to prevent us from having these problems when we get to be seniors and adults and we're struggling.
1 second for the young lady, though. We should be fighting, and it should come from the people, though. When you talk about the quality of education in our schools, right, the same way we have the turnout this evening for this topic and the variety of different other topics that folks will come down and raise ruckus for in city council, we have to still can do the same thing when it comes to public education. And like for instance, and I'm speaking as a dad, right? I'm speaking as a dad. Like the fact that they don't even teach cursive in schools, that the neighborhood should be outraged. That shouldn't come from just the elected officials. That should come from the people, right? The fact that somebody talked about it just now, being able to sign a check. I don't even know how they don't have cursive inside the classroom, so I have no clue. But that has to be from the ground up, to be quite frank with you. And the same way y'all come and speaking truth to power here to us, is the same way I encourage you, I challenge you also to be down at the school board saying, how is it in 2025, what's the legitimate reason that you aren't teaching our children cursive writing in the school district, right? And so I just wanted to put that out there as an ally, as a supporter, as an advocate, and the same thing the young lady just touched on. Yes, when I grew up, we got tested for gym. I'm at the Barrett Middle School and Bach High School. We had to run around the school, do push-ups. The girls had the blue uniforms with your name stitched on them. The guys, we had the socks that you pull all the way up to your knees. So I say that in all seriousness, though, because the greatest equalizer that we will ever have is making sure our young people get a high quality education. To be quite frank, you shouldn't have to pay for it. And so I'll leave that there.
Yeah, so just one more thing. I 100% agree with everything you just said. You know, education, woo, everybody should turn out. But also I think when people are in survival mode all the time and the lack of relationships in our community happen, we forget about other things. So when you're always trying to survive, sometimes everything else gets put on the back end. So.
Good evening, City Council. Thank you for this meeting. My name is Karen Lee. I'm a member of 1PA, yay, and I'm also a resident of Southwest Philadelphia, primarily the Bartram Village area, and also at times First District or Second District. But this is my concern. Bellwether is investing $4 billion at the old refinery on Passyunk Avenue, promising 28,000 jobs during construction and 19,000 permanent jobs at completion. Bartram Village is $300 million to rebuild, with the first phase beginning this year. SEPTA has purchased an old trash dump at 54th and Lindbergh Boulevard and will use the space to build a new station. Additionally, in spite of all of this, okay, Akana has received $23 million, okay, in tax incentives, equity, government grants, and bank financing. In spite of all of this, and living in the middle of all of this investment in construction, our property and our property in the surrounding area is being devalued. And we haven't had any reason or answer as to why. So my question is this: are you sitting at the table with these developers, okay, to ensure that opportunities for people in your constituency do exist? Because we do know the three main problems concerning our area: systemic racism, lack of investment, and lack of opportunity. So this is my concern, and this is my question.
I would love to hear more about specifically what you would want to see, but I will say that I consider the investment in Bartram's Village to be one that is solidifying affordable housing in that area in the midst of all of this other investment. Also, with the SEPTA modernization project, they've committed to cleaning up some of the really dirty uses in that area, which I hope will be received well by the neighbors. But of course, we want to hear what more you would want to see.
Primarily job opportunities for the people, especially the young folks.
Absolutely, and I worked on the Bellevue District project, currently still working on the Bellevue District project. Matter of fact, they just started their new internship cohort program. Also working with the trades around, making sure that young people, not only in the neighborhood, but also across the city of Philadelphia, have an opportunity to participate in the development that's taking place at that particular site. So I work on the project on a regular basis to make sure it's diverse and inclusive. And also I'm proud to say, since the project has started, I can list several different women-owned businesses, black-owned businesses that are playing a role in actually helping develop the actual site. So yes, we are at the seat on that particular project. You're welcome.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Rochelle Ashley with 1PA, Southwest Rising. And we're here for the Healthy Homes Safety for $10 million, not only for the renters, but for the homeowners. I am a homeowner. And my question is to the council, is that when I retired, you know, you want a fixed income right now. So they told me to apply for all these programs that you will be entitled to because you're, you know, senior citizen, and you're supposed to get these discounts and all that. But I did apply, only to be turned down. I make too much money, so they say. So I went to another meeting. I said, well, they said, you know, Sherelle Parker said that she was going to raise it. I know that Governor Shapiro said he was going to raise this thing where you get more money. So I figured I fell again. So I went to another meeting, only to find out it's $35,000. So when they raise this, will they be taking it up to above 50 or maybe 55, when maybe some of us as seniors can take and get some of that money to need, you know, to get the home repairs that we need? Because I do need home repairs, and I'm just not able to.
We would love to talk to you about the programs available at the city. Each one is going to have a different level of income eligibility. So for instance, basic systems repair is a grant program that has a certain level of eligibility, but we also have a very low interest loan program that has a different level. And I believe that there is a proposal on the table to raise the eligibility for basic systems repair. So we'd love to talk to you more, and that is under consideration with the current housing proposal.
Pretty soon, right? They might let it go pretty soon, because I know they say that, but, you know, I'm just trying to say, like.
Yes, these are all things that are under discussion for this budget year.
Okay, I appreciate that.
Good evening. I'm a lifelong resident of Southwest Philadelphia, born and raised, love it. But I wanted to say something to encourage everybody that's from Southwest Philadelphia. I want you all to take a good look at where you live at. Where I live at, I can get downtown in 15 minutes. I can get out of the city, and I'm saying we can get out of the city in 10 to 15 minutes, meaning I-76, I-95. I have SEPTA at my door. I have the 11, the 36, the 13, the 30, and the 64, the 52, and I have the regional rail. I'm saying all this to let you know that where you live at is a vital place, and they want your neighborhood. People only come to your neighborhood when they want something from it. We have all these recreation centers here in this area. That is a plus. That is not a negative. And I want us all to be able to enjoy these things, and our children and our grandchildren to enjoy these things when they have these grand openings. So I'm here to encourage you. Where you live at is golden. They don't use the word ghetto anymore. They use the word urban living. So no longer, ask yourself, when's the last time you heard somebody in any kind of government or political arena say ghetto? They don't. And then also at the end of that, look up the word ghetto and where the ghetto came from and how it came. But I'm here tonight with evidence of what is going on in my community. My community, I live on Woodland Avenue. I love it because where I'm at. My community has not had any economic development in 40 years. And yet and still, we have maintained. The blight that's in my area was created because nothing was invested into it. My taxes went up 3 times in the last 3 years. Yeah, we got programs, but we also remember those programs are councilmatic driven. If for any reason, and they can correct me if I'm wrong, if they have to remove them for whatever financial reason it may come up, it will be removed, and then we will be stuck with that high real estate tax. But I'm here for my community because a building that was a one single family house was torn down from the roof to the basement. I sent a video to my councilperson's office to let them know that this place has no permit, and they had a dumpster that took up 2 parking spaces. I was in constant communication with them, sending out pictures and videos. Do you know L&I came once the job was finished, and they put a stop work order. To add insult to injury, then we learned that this same property had been zoned for personal home care, and then 2 years later, in 2025, it has now been zoned for CMX2. If you get a chance, go on and look up what these zoning codes mean, because a lot of times we want blight to be gone, but you better know what's under them zoning codes, because that is what they can do. So now my community is faced with someone who is able to operate a business. We don't know what type of business it is. We don't know the hours of operation or anything. Why? There was no community meeting for near neighbors, as it is customarily for it to do. There was no ZBA hearing, as it was customarily supposed to be. So when I went on and looked it all up, this is what I found out. So I'm saying, is this going to be the same thing that happens to my block and community again when we fought a hookah club for 2 years that was illegally there for 2 years? For 2 years. And finally, we got the 18th district to come and co-sign with us. We had to get a lawyer. It was given to us by another organization. Come out to find out that organization was helping the hookah people. But whatever, we won. We won, but it took us 2 years. We had 2 shootings every night.
You know I got a lot of love for you.
Listen, let me finish
Well,
now, because I've been waiting, and I'm not trying to be disrespectful for anybody, but I want to know, how is this going to be rectified? Because when we came home with the hookah club, it was no parking spaces. And for 2 years, we fought. These people party. And I'm saying about your rights as a homeowner, as a member. I'm a committee person. I get out to vote. I push the vote. I'm active. We are active in my community. But this here has to cease, that you cannot allow people to set up shop where they will be able to be benefactors of it, and we will not be able to have any kind of rest, like the lady was saying about what is she going to do when it's time for her to have her family barbecues, when yet and still she has to deal with the smell of what is outside of her control of. So what are we going to do when this business open up, whatever it is, when we have never been consulted? And for that is wrong.
Thank you, Ms. Suttles.
It is the South District. That they can be in business, but you told me that I'm going to have to take it. So tonight I'm here to say, what's going to be done about it?
I would need to look into the specific issue you're talking about. If the zoning, is it okay for me to respond? Okay. If the zoning was not by right, they would have had to get a variance. There would have had to be a community meeting administered by the RCO. And that's just the law, that's the code. But I'm happy to look into the specific property and what happened with ZBA and the zoning, and to support the community however we can. So we would like to follow up with you on the issue. Mm-hmm. I mean, the process is definitely not perfect. There are lots of times when people who want to be in the room might not have seen the notice or received the notice, but I would love to look into what happened so we could see how we can address it and support the community in their desire. So thank you for bringing that up tonight.
Okay. Councilwoman Gauthier and Council President Johnson, I want to say thank you for holding the town hall tonight. I would also like to say thank you for having an event like this in the evening time for working class people, young folks like myself who work. It gives me a chance to be involved in the political process. My name is Kenny. I live at 57. Also, I want to thank you all for your presence on social media. That's important to us young folks. Councilman O'Rourke, Councilwoman Gauthier, President Johnson. I follow you all on Instagram. Thank you. I also just I'm Kenny. I live in King Sesson, 52nd and Woodland. I'm here with 1PA as well. I'll keep this brief because a lot of people have covered it. I'll just talk quickly about the vacant homes campaign. Essentially, our immediate goal is the 30 worst vacant properties need to be addressed. Please, council members, take the time to look at the proposal, address those immediately, because, you know, it creates room for opportunistic crime. It lowers folks' property value, and in certain cases, as we've heard tonight, it impacts other people's homes, particularly our elder members who are not able to do those repairs themselves. The other thing I just want to say really quickly is that if I were to take off my 1PA shirt, I would like to advocate for changes to parts of the budget as it relates to the way that the area median income. I think it's important for us to look at the fine print. The banks and think tanks that you rely on to decide who's eligible for affordable housing and other affordable programs isn't necessarily reflective of like what's going on for people in their real lives. What looks good on paper isn't actually the reality. And additionally, too, the additional money going to the police force, I think, is ridiculous. I think that is unfavorable among your constituents in general, particularly for me. I think that it is no secret that the police are used to funnel young people, particularly black men, into the prison pipeline where they are then exploited for their labor. If you want to put money towards first responders, do it for our firefighters. And the last thing that I just want to add is that I'm 27 years old. I am a carpenter in the nonprofit sector. I do the work that I do free of charge to members of Philadelphia. These programs and the people who are doing the work are underfunded. I go to work every day. I'm doing critical repairs on people's homes. I can't afford to come and fix my 100-year-old home that my grandparents have entrusted to me. So what looks good on paper, what these banks is telling you is appropriate when we're factoring in the income of the greater Philadelphia area, the greater suburbs, isn't the lived experience of Philadelphians. Again, thank you for doing this in the evening so I can be here. Thank you for being online, and I really appreciate your time.
Thank you so much.
Can y'all hear me? Okay. So, good afternoon, councilmen and everyone here. My name is Tamika Mears, and can you hear me? Hi, everyone. My name is Tamika Mears, and I wanted to apologize to the lady that was just here because, unfortunately, I am a business owner with my sister who's here. We do have a personal care home, but we are licensed. We just made our 3 years. The state just came February. The ombudsman came last week, so we are licensed. I wanted to ask, would Philadelphia have any budget, for personal care homes? Because we're trying to expand, and we're also noticing that personal care homes, a lot of people really don't know about them. And they're mainly used for people who don't want to go into a nursing home, or if your family decides to throw you away, we'll basically pick you up and take care of you. But the issue is, with Social Security or private pay, some people may get more than others, and some may not make as much as others. So now it is just me and my sister who work basically 24/7. So the issue is we want to expand, but we also want to, get employees. But if we have someone that's making $600-700, how can we pay the bills, give money to someone that wants to work, who will come to work, because some people don't want to work. We do have volunteers, but that's just, here and there. Go ahead.
I would encourage you to look at the Commerce Department. They have a range of grant opportunities for small businesses. There's also a broader network of nonprofits like the Enterprise Center, Entrepreneur Works, that also offer support for small businesses. At the Commerce Department specifically, we just launched something called the Business Catalyst Fund. It's a $5 million fund to help small, mid-sized businesses get to the next level. I believe they're going to open applications soon. So go to phila.gov where you can find out the resources that we offer directly at the city, but I also would encourage you to look at some of our partners like the Enterprise Center. And then also check out the state and see what offerings they have for small businesses as well. And nice to meet you. Thank you for coming.
Thank you. We, my sister, she's doing a program, Power Up with Community.
Yeah.
She was picked, and you were, and you guys had to write a letter for recommendation.
That's a wonderful program.
Yep,
I'm glad that your
doing
sister got into that program.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for coming tonight.
Good afternoon, good evening, everyone. My name is Obona Hagans. I have just a quick question because of the short time. Last year, there was a reparations task force that was formed, and over the last year, we haven't received any information about the task force, what's been going on, and the task force is specifically for the progeny of the emancipated. Someone mentioned structural racism. Structural racism will be addressed through funding, through giving the American freedmen, the descendants of slavery who built this country, what is due. So I would like to ask council, why hasn't any report at all, whether on the website or anything, been given to the descendants of slavery?
Sure thing. Thank you for coming tonight. As you referenced, my office did launch the Reparations Task Force. It's something that we believe in deeply and that we're excited about. But I will say that people-driven work sometimes runs into people-driven issues. And after we launched the website, we did have quite a lot of, I would say, interpersonal conflict among, the members of the task force that it took us some time to sort out, and it wasn't something that could be helped or avoided. It was just something that we needed to take the time to get through, to be transparent. So currently, we're at a place where we hope to bring on a new project manager for the reparations task force and continue with the work which we are very committed to. So hopefully, we can provide you with a fuller update soon. And thank you for coming tonight.
And the other thing is that there was no budget for this reparations task force. Other task forces across the nation had a budget. How can you do a study as deep as slavery and not have a budget? That to me shows that there's not enough attention paid to the American freedmen, the descendants of slavery.
We didn't have city funding dedicated to the task force. There were members that did secure grant funding to support the work of the task force. And so and the task force was able to benefit from that.
Hello.
Hello.
I'm Emma Tramble, and I live in the 3rd Councilmanic District. Hello. So my question is, I'm a SEPTA writer, and I attend the SEPTA Citizens Council meetings religiously. And so the big things that keep coming up in the papers and riders is safety for riders, and for some, it's the cost of the fare. And on the SEPTA side, it's the low ridership, since we have not returned to pre-pandemic numbers, crime, and the $240 million shortage. So when the city came up with a program, Zero Fare, where there are 25,000 people in our city who are eligible to get into a program where they will get a SEPTA key card and they can tap in 15,000, I got all these numbers from the city sites, not even the paper. 15,000 people signed up. 52% are women, 54% identify as African, African American, or African descent. And the city has decided to cut that completely as of June of this year. And most of those people are tapping in between Monday through Friday, 6 a.m. to 9 a.m. and 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. So we know what people do when you're getting on SEPTA at 6 o'clock in the morning. You're not going to a party. And I want to know if I haven't seen any impact study of what will happen to these people once that's cut off. So we're supposed to give suggestions here. There's no nuance, right? It's just like it's over. So no impact study on the participants, on the overall ridership, because SEPTA has a shortage of riders. They're on there now. And the sense of safety for all of us. You know, more riders is safety in numbers. So I want to know what the city plans to do when these people are just cut off.
Emma, thank you so much for bringing that up. I want you to know that there's a lot of support on council for the Zero Fare program. And I wanted to just step back because I don't think we explained the full budget process. So what we presented tonight is a proposal. So the budget process starts off with a proposal from the mayor. At that point, council takes the next, few months to have hearings, to dig into the proposal. But budget is also a negotiation. And this is probably one of the strongest powers of council, that we have to actually approve the budget in order for the mayor to spend what she wants to spend and to have the resources to do that. So what will happen over the course of these next few months is that we'll not only have budget hearings and hear from the public, but council gets to push and say, we see your proposal, Mayor Parker, but these are the things that we think are important for our constituents. And so that's why this meeting is really important, to hear from you so that we know how to go into that negotiation. And I can't obviously promise you what will happen on the other side, but I will tell you there's a lot of strong support and there's a lot of concern among council about not having that program. So I think that's something that we're going to fight pretty hard for.
Yeah. And I just want to mention, when you make $7.25 an hour, and set your SEPTA fare is $5 for the day, you have to work a full hour to just cover getting to work.
We feel you.
Member Gauthier, can I also respond to this? Ms. Emma, also, thank you for raising this point. As Member Gauthier mentioned, there is a lot of concern about this across the council. Several members have raised this question throughout the course of the budget hearings, including myself. As you know, this is a proposal. It is our job to try to organize and figure out where we can adjust and make the budget better. One of the efforts that we're trying to do, at least from our office, is make sure that we're getting stories from persons who do benefit from Zero Fare. So I want to put this out there because there may be other folks who may know in the sanctuary tonight that also may have benefited from this. We want to hear your stories. I have one staff member who is with me tonight, Shauna Reichman-Lemieux. She may be in here somewhere. If you are, wave your hand. If not, I'm going to give this number out right now. If you personally benefit from this program or you know someone who benefits from this program, we need to know who you are so that we can make the case. The number is 215-686-3452. Again, 215. Right here. Shauna's, okay, thank you. Shauna, just wave your hand. Also, meet her. We can try to gather your contact information, but the number again is 215-686-3452. If you're a part of that program or you know someone who is, we want to hear from you. Please let us know. We're going to do everything that we can to save this program, especially in a time like this. These things are essential for our livelihood in the city. Thank you so much for raising the point.
Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. I'd like to say hi to all the council members. My name is Wayne Evans. I live across Baltimore Avenue. My neighbor and I, we've been trying to get speed bumps between 59th and Catherine all the way down to Baltimore Avenue. The cars are driving down like, oh God, it's out of control, you know. And we want to stop. We want speed bumps so we can slow them down a little bit. My other issue is Baltimore Avenue between Baltimore and, I guess, Woodland Avenue. The streets is terrible. You got to swerve from side to side to get just to drive down the street. Baltimore Avenue, Woodland Avenue, and 57th Street. Streets are terrible, and I want to see something done.
Thank you for coming tonight. We want to support you and your request for speed bumps. I can't guarantee you'll get them. It's not directly my decision. It's the streets department, but we'll help you put in the request and advocate.
I'm gonna support my colleague. We're gonna get you your speed bumps. Right?
Okay. Well, the council president said
we're gonna get them speed bumps because I'm gonna tell you why, right? I'm gonna keep it real because, and I'm fighting for some speed bumps in Southwest, right? But I'm up at Manayunk, right? Ain't nobody speeding, and they got all these speed bumps, right? And I'm in the Northwest the other day, coming off Lincoln Drive, I think it's like Mansfield Avenue or Mount Airy Ave, and it's like all these speed bumps, right? So I'm like, I had to call somebody and said, I want to make sure it's not an issue of equity, right? Because one is a middle-class neighborhood, both of them middle-class neighborhoods, and I'm rumbling, and it shouldn't take the council president to call. It should be Joe Citizen call for this. We're going to get you your speed bump. So I'm going to stand on that, all right?
And my neighbor and I, we stopped at Joan Clinton's office 2024, and we still trying.
Can you stop by and just make sure we get your information at my constituent services table?
Sure.
Is that your...
Yeah.
Got you. Thank you so much for coming tonight. We'll do whatever we can to help. Yeah.
Now, who do I see? Thank you.
Oh, hi there.
Hello.
I'm a member of One Pennsylvania, and I'm also an active voter. And I want to thank City Council, number one, for the programs that they've developed for seniors and the tax relief. It's been absolutely wonderful. Someone mentioned tonight that it may go away, and it frightened me.
I think we were talking about a specific business tax program.
Oh, okay. And one of the things that One Pennsylvania wants to do is support $10 million towards the Safety Healthy Homes programs, so that Ella and I would go in and check out apartments and houses before people are actually moving into the homes. I personally, as an active voter, I'm enjoying this city, and I'm enjoying what people, the city government is trying to do, the cleaning of the streets, the bright lights in the area. And I mean, I know that you guys are not perfect, but your job is, you're doing a good job.
Thank you so much.
Good evening, Jackie Sorrells. I am a member of this church, but I'm here to represent Dr. Dorothy Johnson Spitewood Mothers in Charge. I know that you're familiar with the work that we do with families that have experienced gun violence in Philadelphia. We have several initiatives that we're starting directly targeting the youth of Philadelphia, because so much of the violence is seated among our young population. And what we want to know is, in the budget that's dealing with the violence, is there going to be an increase for the programs that's directed towards the youth and in attacking this scourge of violence in Philadelphia?
Absolutely, man. We have increased funding for the Office of Victims, Office of Violence Prevention, that provides the funding for the boots on the ground organizations. And I also was told today at our budget hearing through the Department of Human Services, we're focusing on 8,000 summer jobs for the youth during this upcoming summer. So yes, we have a specific focus on. I know I have an agenda on focusing on making sure as many young people as possible get involved in something positive during the summer, we know every time it gets hot outside, it's just predictable. And so we're working on the front end to try to provide as many young people an opportunity to get involved in something positive this summer. Yes, ma'am.
Hi there, my name's Gabriel Strauss. I'm a volunteer with Philly Bike Action. I promise I know I don't have the shirt, but I'm coming straight from work. And I just want to thank you guys, both the at-large council members, for coming here. I'm a proud West Philly resident in Councilmember Gauthier's district. And I also want to thank you guys for holding this after work hours so that we can come if we have a job. I just really wanted to quickly thank you guys so much for the support that you guys have shown for the Vision Zero program in this year's capital budget. Philadelphia's traffic violence crisis is so important to address. 120 people a year are killed, over 400 are seriously injured. Black and Latino Philadelphians more than twice as likely to be killed. Residents of the poorest 10% of zip codes 2.6 times more likely to be killed or seriously injured. So this is really personal to me. I was hit and almost killed biking when I was a high school student, when I was biking to school. And I was told by the paramedics that if I hadn't been wearing my helmet, I would have been killed. Vision Zero funding isn't just for cyclists, it's for people across the city. So why am I coming here today? I want to thank you guys for your leadership on this issue. I want to say that it is so important to keep all of that funding in the budget, no matter what happens with federal grants or with the economy or whatever. And to make sure that there's money allocated for protecting spruce and pine with concrete, to make sure that if the city receives the grants that it's applying for, that money gets redirected to other Vision Zero projects and not just put into the general fund. And the last thing I'll say, and then I'll be quiet because there are other people waiting, and I know it's after the 8 o'clock, is New York City spends $82 per resident per year, $680 million a year. Even with $5 million, we're spending $3.22 per resident, and we have 3 times more traffic deaths per capita. $5 million is such a historic investment, but we need more. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Good evening to everyone at the panel at the desk. I'd like to thank you for being here and also allowing me to speak. I know it's after hours. My name is Joyce Wallace. My husband and I are homeowners in the Eastwick section on the 7800 block of Saturn Place. My question is for my community and myself, and it's for President Kenyatta Johnson. I know this is a proposal budget, but I would like to know, we were in the honor and respect of my past Black Captain Leo Brundage signage last year in July 2024. He had gracefully let us know that we have funding for our Eastwick Recreation Center.
Yes, absolutely.
And I would like to know, is that still in the budget? Because absolutely. I've been to a lot of community meetings. No one's talking about it, but the residents thinks that it got put on the back shelf.
No, not at all. So,
and I just like to know.
Let me give you an update.
Yes.
So I have $6 million. That's not even a part of this budget.
That's why I said I know this is a proposal.
Yeah, that was already done. It's not even a proposal. That money is put to the side, right?
This meeting, yes.
And that's just not to do the Eastwick Recreation Center, but also we're doing a brand
new. The bike trail is starting.
We're doing a spray park. We're doing the playground. We already did the pickleball court, right? Yes. And we're doing the basketball courts over. The pause in the project is because it's in the flood zone.
Yes, it is.
And so after the initial proposal came out from Parks and Rec, they pulled it because now the new proposal, and we have a meeting coming up soon, and I'll have my staff give you the actual date, Todd McCoy.
Yes.
The proposal is to raise the recreation center up a certain amount of feet off the ground. And so we didn't want to invest in the brand new refurbished, revitalized rec center, and then the flood happens again to destroy the rec center. So yes, we're moving forward with it. Todd McCoy will actually give you the date when we're going to have the meeting. And so promises made, promises kept.
That's good.
We will have the next meeting, and I will be there myself to go over what that project looks like. So thank you very much.
But I have one more thing, please.
Sure,
I spoke with your representative that works with you. I'm sorry, your employee, Mr. Amir. In reference to, we still having problems getting those lightings in our recreation center in the front. We have meetings, we have children down there, they come for after school programs, and it's really dark down there. Y'all took care of 70th Street, I kept calling, but he got it done, so, and I don't even live on 70th Street, but I do have a very special person that lives on 70th and Lindbergh, and I kept calling, I called Amir,
Yes.
And I guess he reached out to the street department, and they took care
Got it
from
done.
CVS all the way down to the post office.
You have my word.
So
We will
please,
take
can
care
you,
of
they
Parks
say
and
we
Rec.
need new pole lightings. So
Yes,
could you
ma'am.
take care of that, please?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, sir.
And give your information to Todd McCoy behind you as well, so
No
we can go
problem.
follow
I
up.
met Todd before.
Yes. Thank you. Well, so I want to take a moment to thank Councilmember Nicholas O'Rourke, Councilwoman, I'm gonna say the best for last, Councilmember Rulandau, Councilmember Jim Harity, but also most importantly, the host of this event. I'm gonna turn the microphone over to her so she can close this out. But we thank her for her leadership, and most importantly, we want to thank you, right? This budget town hall is called You're a City, You're a Budget. And so you want to inform us, and we take in your recommendations, your issues, and your concerns as we negotiate with the administration on what the final budget process is going to look like. And so thank you for all coming out. I'm going to turn the microphone over to Councilman Jamie Gauthier.
I want to add my thanks to you. Thank you for coming here tonight and spending your time to talk about what's important to you. And I want to assure you that we heard you, and we're going to make this a part of our negotiations with the mayor so that hopefully we come out with a budget that you all see yourselves in and that you feel proud of. And I also want to thank my colleagues and our council president for making this a priority, that we come out in the community and make sure that people have a place in our budget negotiations. Thank you so much, and have a good evening.